Hello and welcome to the first episode of the official Stenhousemuir podcast. This will provide the community with a different voice. We want to involve the community as this club is more than just the 90 minutes on the pitch. And with the launch of this podcast throughout the season, we'll be introducing guests such as players past and present, as well as people involved with the club and the community. So let's get on with it. I'm Chris McMillan, commentator on Warriors TV and the host of the podcast. On the panel with me are club reporter, Warriors TV co-commentator and co-host of the podcast, Angus Blacklock.
How you doing, Chris? It's a pleasure to share the mics with you once again.
An absolute pleasure as always. That was a bit of a mouthful for me to get out there. And communications officer Rennie Hamilton joins us today.
Oh, happy to be here.
And for the podcast, the first episode, we are just going to have a little review of the season so far, covering all the competitions, all the games, all the ups and all the downs. And let's start with the League Cup. Not too much to shout about, I suppose, apart from perhaps that first game against St Johnstone. Finished fourth in the League Cup in the end, but let's take a wee look at that St Johnstone victory. I mean, that was quite something at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think for a League Two team to be a Premiership team on the opening day of the Viaplay Sports Cup is always a big achievement and a big statement for, if you like.
I'd say it was a bit of a giant killing, to be honest. And when you actually look at the stats of that game, if you watched it live, you'd have seen that it was probably a deserved victory, to be honest, in my opinion. Done really well, played really well as a team.
Obviously, Young O'Reilly getting the goal just before the 50th minute, and luckily the Warriors were able to hold out and get the 3 points in the Viaplay Cup.
Yeah, that would have been a special moment for him as well. He's a Perth boy. I think it was his hometown club. I'm not sure if he's a St Johnstone supporter, but it would fit, I suppose.
I'm pretty sure he is. Him and Matty Aitken, I think, are St Johnstone fans.
Yeah, so
Don't quote me on that, but
that would have been a great moment for him. But it's just it's so good, isn't it, on the first game of the season? Albeit in the League Cup, I know it's not everyone's sort of cup of tea, but just to get out the blocks and get a win like that.
Yeah, definitely. It gets a good mood around the club. Get some high spirits for the upcoming season.
And then in true League Cup fashion, you just go and lose a couple of games. That's just the way that it goes, really, isn't it? But we noticed one statistic: conceded 1 against Ayr in the second game, 2 against Stirling Albion in the third game, and 3 against Alloa in the fourth game. But the Alloa game here, that was the first game I was on commentary for Stenhousemuir on Warriors TV this season. Took the lead, and yeah, probably 3-1. It was, probably not quite a fair reflection of the way the game was going.
yeah, it was a weird one, to be honest. Having watched all the games in the League Cup, I would have said that the game against Alloa was the best we played, and it was a worst result. So it was a tough one to take, to be honest. But the team were progressing at that point. It was still quite to see.
And you look at the amount of players that we signed in the summer, it was still a squad that was gelled together, learning about each other's play styles, where they are on the pitch, and we played very well that game, having 12 shots and having more of the possession. So it was definitely a sign of progression within the team before the league season.
Yeah, and you mentioned the players as well, and Gary Naismith having that pre-season as well, having just come in, like that would have been crucial for him as well. And yeah, it's never an easy time, as I touched on with the League Cup as well. But I think we're going to move on. I think we should go and just take a little look at the other cup competitions before we get into the meat of the league, if you like. So let's look at it really. The Scottish Challenge Cup, Stenhousemuir, Rangers B here at Ochil View, which is where we are recording from. A 2-1 defeat, but again, a promising performance. But would you look at it, is the Challenge Cup going to be that crucial to Stenhousemuir during the season? But
it's a chance to get a good cup run and get play different teams from different divisions. But you look at the match; it was one that was it would have definitely hurt the players conceding that late on, and to a deflected goal it was in the end. But it was a game where the players showed real character. Obviously, equalising straight away after conceding within the space of a minute. Aidan Lynch getting his head in a corner, and it was something we really looked threatening from corners in that game, and that was something I think that has been the theme of the season. We've been really good from set pieces.
Yeah, I felt quite sorry for Curtis Lyle, to be honest, that game. I thought he was excellent. pretty sure he got man of the match as well. And then, like Angus said, in the 91st minute, it was a deflected ball, just looked over him. There's nothing he could do. That game in particular, I think we matched Rangers B. They just had players that ultimately played for the first team, and they had like players that can produce that moment of quality.
They got a huge squad as well. There's
They
so
do.
many players
massive,
to pick from.
absolutely massive, yeah. And also the budget will be more than what we've got here, I would imagine, anyway. So
yeah, exactly. And there's no shame to going out to, well, the Rangers B team, any of the B teams really, the Premier League.
It's also a chance to come up against a different team that played different style of football to most League Two teams. There were a team, I think Rangers B, I presume they will be full time. They'll be able to train, work in transitions better than what most League Two clubs would be able to. So I think it's definitely a game that players would have learned from in terms of the way different kind of teams play against the Warriors.
I think also just Angus could have touched on it there a wee bit, is that Stenhousemuir are a part-time team, so it was a midweek game, so our Stenhousemuir players will have completed a day of work,
Yeah, it's always
whereas
going to be difficult.
Rangers B will have had proper match preparation, pre-match meal, all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely, they might have been in the Lowland League last season, but they're definitely a team better than that, I would say.
What would you be having for your pre-match meal?
It's got to be chicken and rice, isn't it? That's
It's
what
a
everyone
very,
always does.
very
Yeah.
Chicken and
professional
pasta.
athlete,
It's got to
yeah.
be chicken and pasta.
Oh, you guys, man. You know how to do it professionally.
What would yours be?
Ooh, don't know. Probably some seafood, I think, but some prawns.
Yeah.
Maybe prawn pasta,
Yeah, not a bad shout. Not a bad
Yeah.
shout.
As long as you had pizza or something after the game, then I'm happy with
Yeah,
that.
of course, yeah. You want a wee Mars bar at halftime just to pick you up.
Any excuse to have some chocolate in you.
For the league campaign, I mean, it was a slightly inauspicious start, wasn't it? I mean, first game here against Forfar Athletic. I should point out that at the time of the recording, Stenhousemuir have completed the first quarter of the fixtures. One game fewer than they would have played. They've got at time of recording a game in hand against Peterhead that had to be rescheduled due to the Storm Babette. But let's go back to the start of the season, and that opening game in particular against Forfar Athletic. I mean, it's a great occasion. I love opening day of the season, but again, I almost feel like I'm repeating myself already. Stenhousemuir easily could have picked up the 3 points on that day.
Definitely, open game of the season. There's always good mood around the place, a good atmosphere in the stadium, and the Warriors did play really well. I think they had a penalty shot. They hit the post. I think they hit the post a couple of times. I think Matty Yates hit the post late on, but obviously towards the end of the match, Darren Jameson was forced into two really good saves to make sure the Warriors did get out with the point in the end.
Yeah, I think that was the game where I made a bit of a fool of myself on commentary by exclaiming that Matty Yates had scored a free kick really early on, and it was a fine save, but
close.
I got a bit excited.
Well, it was probably the most exciting 0-0 draw I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was one of those games where it felt like both teams, it could have ended 4-4 for all we know, but it ended up being 0-0, defences on top. So,
and then, how did you feel when the next game finishes 0-0?
Yeah, all the way up to Peterhead, my first time in Peterhead, and still no goal. Again, this is my first time in Peterhead. The wind kind of dominated the game, I would say. And it was just one of those games where I think they could have played another 90 minutes and there had been no goals between either team. So,
yeah, definitely. I think it was one of those games where the draw was a good result for the Warriors, going all the way up to Peterhead, going down to 10 men with 10 minutes to go. Obviously, Mikey Anderson picking up a second yellow, and in the end, it was probably a good draw, because I think, if I remember correctly, in the second half we were playing against the wind, so especially those last 10 minutes when you got just a Peterhead pressure for the last 10 minutes, up against it, down to 10 men, to get out with a draw and keep the clean sheet record intact as well was a positive result for the Warriors.
Yeah, of course, and it's a Peterhead side that have just dropped down into the division, and you look at the way that they're going as well. They're going to be right up there. So that point could look very, very good. Not even at the end of the season, in a couple of weeks.
Just off topic as well, I would say Peterhead have the best media setup out of all the grounds I've been to in League Two. You get a table, a nice comfy seat, you even get a socket. It's perfect if you're doing live updates like I was. Yeah,
oh my goodness,
you're treated well.
Also, a very good pitch up there, a good grass pitch at that. And whether we say that in January after an influx of rain or whatever might be different, but in August it was a very well maintained pitch, it must be said.
Yeah, I was quite looking forward to the game here that, as I say, at time of recording hasn't been played due to the storm, but I feel like that was going to be a very, very interesting fixture, judging based on the way the two sides had started the season as well. But I mean, it still will be when we get there.
Obviously, that game getting played quite soon. Actually, the Tuesday the 12th, I think it is. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's Tuesday the 12th that game's getting played.
And then, not quite going to do it game by game, but we'll move on to East Fife. Stenhousemuir get their first win, get their first league goals, and well, Gregor Buchanan gets the first one, and yeah, who knew that would have started a bit of a scoring spree for him?
Gregor Buchanan getting the opening goal for the Warriors campaign in the league. 400th professional appearance in football. A great way to mark it for him.
Yeah, he's a real leader, a genuine leader. I thought we played really well that day. We dominated East Fife. I think at that point, East Fife were one of the favourites. Pre-season, they were one of the favourites to go up. So it was really positive to go away to Metho. Again, another windy occasion.
It's always
But
windy in League Two.
It always is,
Always.
yes, always. But we dominated them, kept a clean sheet, and yeah, we really controlled that match, and that was kind of a bit of a turning point. Having been a bit,
Yeah, lift
maybe
off, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, maybe a bit like inconsistent, you could say, but we put a real team performance that one.
Definitely. Adam Brown wrapping up late on as well, just to secure the 3 points, and another very good defensive play as East Fife ramped up the pressure late on.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I said who would have seen the Gregor Buchanan influx of goals, but I suppose if anyone could have seen it, it might have been myself. He scored a fair few at Dumbarton last season. Obviously, came in club captain this season as well. I think he said in his interview, I can't remember if it was that game or maybe it was one of the other ones that he said that yeah, he felt like he might have been bribed a little bit with the captaincy to come into Stenhousemuir by Gary Naismith. But whatever he's done, it is working, and that is the main thing.
It's been a good decision though.
Yeah, exactly.
To make Gregor Buchanan captain.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's very experienced as well. He knows what it's like to play at this level. And speaking of Buchanan Dumbarton, that next game, I wasn't here for that. I was away on holiday. I don't know if that was a good thing or not, but was it the full game or was it just that first half? I mean, that just seemed to come out of nowhere.
It was a very weird game. It was, especially having that clean sheet record going into the game, to concede 4 in the first half. I mean, I've seen us play worse and win games, and because we did play well. We started well. We had good early pressure, and then they scored, and I think we just sort of had that 20-30 minute spell where everything just went wrong for us, and somehow we ended up going into the break 4-0 down, which was just nobody saw it coming before the game. And
yeah, it was. You mentioned the 4 goals in that sort of short period of time. I'd looked at for the commentary, but for the Peterhead game before that was postponed. Dan Jameson, also we can touch on him as a new arrival. He's just been absolutely fantastic. But
yeah,
before the Elgin draw, conceded 4 league goals in 42 minutes against Dumbarton and 2 in 21 minutes against Clyde. Spoiler, 6 goals in 63 minutes, and apart from that, he's been pretty much perfect in the league.
Oh, he's been excellent signing. And on the Dumbarton game, it's like the only way I can describe it is like a game of FIFA where everything just goes against you. It's the only way I can describe it. They scored every chance they got. I do the live updates on Twitter, and by the time I typed that it was 2-0 with Ross McLean, I think I tweeted that and he'd scored again. And it's like, yeah, it was just one of those games where everything went wrong. I think Darren Jameson, though, has been an excellent signing. You've really, the saying defence wins leagues. Well, it's like that. That's what it feels like just now.
Yeah, and that's been the strong area of the team. Well, I mean, not just the only strong area, but I was just going to ask you. I don't know if Gary Naismith plays FIFA, but he must have wanted to fling his controller at that first half.
Definitely, especially the way you started the match with the early pressure and the early chances. But one positive from the match was Matthew Aitken opening his account for the season, opening his account for Stenhousemuir, getting the 2 goals, a penalty and one late on. But good for him to get his account up and running in the match.
Yeah, and definitely just to make the scoreline a little bit more respectable. I suppose no team wants to go in 4-0 down at half time, but at the very least, you would imagine that, the manager would be saying, "Let's come out." I know it's an old cliche, but win the second half, and they did that. And by all accounts, on the day we're far better in the second half as well.
No, definitely. It was much improved in the second half. for the Warriors. It was one of those where we kind of needed to be if we didn't want the scoreline to get embarrassing. But I think we came out, obviously we won the second half, but we definitely played better and had a better performance.
Yeah, it set up the Spartans game, didn't it? At the start of September, it set it up quite nicely. It really had the look of a early season, title promotion contender type of game, and just another late goal. Like Stenhousemuir, I don't know how they kept doing it in the early part of the season, but yeah, another goal from James Berry, and yeah, what fantastic! That felt like a big result at the time, didn't it?
It's the best way to win a football match, to be honest. And what was pleasing for me as well was obviously a last minute winner. You get big celebrations. Me and Angus were just behind the bench that day, and the whole bench, even the unused subs, were up celebrating. I think that just showed the team spirit, and games like that can really create a team spirit, really harness something.
Definitely, I think a bit's been made of the fact that we've got quite a small squad this season, but when you have a small squad, everybody's together, everybody knows everybody really well, and that was definitely shown after that James Berry goal against the Spartans, come away with 3 points at Ainsley Park, a ground which has been tough for teams to go to this season, and at the point, Spartans were right up there at the top of the league. Of course, they still are, but at the time they were right up there, and it was a big result for the Warriors. Obviously,
yeah, we've not really touched on the small squad thing as well. That was, any time a player went down, especially those early few games, the nerves, like just
obviously
just terrified.
The squad's obviously gotten a bit bigger in recent weeks with the additions of Danny Jordan, Zach Murray, and Zach Mackay, should I say, Huma, and Mark Ferry,
on loan from Motherwell as well. I think it feels like the manager's just been slowly getting in some targets, and he's not pulled the trigger too early. Perhaps you would imagine he would have wanted some of those players. And well, he said it about Ferry, didn't he? He wanted Ferry earlier on, but Motherwell wanted to use him in the League Cup.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, down to 10 men again in that match with Nicky Jameson, should I say, getting 2 yellows in the match. But to come away with a victory, down to 10 men, a last-minute winner, you can't ask for much more from your squad from that game.
I'm just kind of gutted that we didn't get to see Gary and Brown Ferguson play, because though very you watched the Jersey Bulls game, they were actually stripped and ready to come on at one point.
Were they?
Yeah, they were. They were in shorts, had their socks on and everything, but no, never came on. So I would love to have seen somebody shout at Gary if he misplaced a pass.
Well, I've just got a glimpse.
I don't think I would have shouted at him.
I've just got a glimpse of Gary's coppers in his office tonight. Nice, yeah.
Nice vintage, yeah.
What's Gary going to be saying that you're being hanging around his office?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't need to know that, but we just needed a quiet space to do a little bit of work for a minute. But if he is listening, I am sorry. But I've complimented his boots as well, so
evens out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I had to wait a couple of weeks, and then arguably the performance of the season so far: 5-star day in the sun, Warriors Day. Oh, that was just a fantastic performance against Stranraer, wasn't it?
Oh, it was the perfect day against the Stranraer side, who were doing really well at the time. I think that obviously they've had a bit of a poor run of form recently, but that day was just perfect. Warriors Day in the sun, a real community vibe around the place, exactly what this club is and should be. It was just a great day to be involved in.
Yeah, I think touching on Warriors Day, I work with Warriors in the community as well, who are the charity arm of Stenhousemuir Football Club, and it was just really a good day. It was, sun was out at Bouncy Castle, we had all sorts of activities on for our community members, and it was really pleasing, topping it off a 5-0 win. Even Wally the Warrior was there, not seen him in a while.
Did you test the Bouncy Castles?
No, I wasn't allowed on. No.
Even before,
no,
you couldn't even test them?
No. Next time.
Also, it must be pointed out that everybody at that match, you had to be there to see Adam Brown's second goal, because
you did indeed.
Obviously, picks a lot with the camera. There's a ball boy playing with the ball, the other end of the pitch. Adam Brown goes through, and all you hear is yourself, Adam Brown, in the back of the net, and it pangs to Darren Jameson celebrating.
So, bringing that up because it was outstanding commentary, obviously.
It was outstanding commentary.
But as I said afterwards, that is not the first time Pixel have done me in the last few years, so I was not chuffed about that. But what can you do? But yeah, you had to be there. We could have printed T-shirts. I was there.
Everybody at the match got Oakle View exclusive.
Yeah.
for Adam Brown's second goal.
And, I was going to say it was the first sort of like big viral moment, they got picked up, but we'll maybe get onto another one later on. That really was a fantastic day. And I think after, I don't know, to me, it seemed after the Dumbarton defeat, the win against Spartans, and it felt like Stenhousemuir were really hitting their stride, clicking into gear. And yeah, it was everything you want to see. And then again, it just set up a lovely looking fixture against Bonnyrigg Rose, another 1-0 victory away from home. Eden Lynch this time with the goal. He's another one of the new signings, another one that is coming from Dumbarton. He knows Greggy Buchanan really well, but he's been impressive as well when he's stepped in.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really good. Obviously, scoring against Rangers B. Whenever he stepped in, he's been a real valuable player in the team. Obviously, not just at centre back. He's obviously filled in at left back a couple of times as well. But to touch on the Bonnyrigg game at the time, going into the second place, playing against First away from home, a tough game on a grass pitch, something that the players aren't always used to training and playing their home games in Astro, as well as numerous away games. But to get the victory there, it seemed like an important time, and obviously put the Warriors top of the league at that point in the season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether, with all due respect, whether Bonnyrigg Rose can keep it going. I suppose Spartans as well, but Bonnyrigg, we saw a little bit of this from them last season, and they fell away towards the end. But, credit to them, they've had a fantastic start. And, the top of the table is really looking quite congested. And Stenhousemuir drew against Clyde the next game as well. Absolutely cruising, it must be said. And, yeah, actually, what I'll say first of all is great to see Matty Yates getting off the mark in the league as well.
Yeah, he's going to be a real key player for us. Slightly different role this season. I think he's kind of dropped back one into the attacking midfield rather than being up front. But he's been really good, really influential, as he was last year as well, and that was key for him. I think a lot of players can be confidence players. I would include myself in that whenever I play. Even though it's only 5-a-side, it still counts.
I've not seen your finishing ability yet. So.
Not yet, anyway. Yeah. And I think, that could be hopefully the start of him really kicking on this season because he's got the ability, definitely.
Yeah, he would have been frustrated as well, I think. He'd got that one in the League Cup, I think it was.
And I think you saw by his celebration when he did score, he really went for it. He'd been waiting a long time to get that goal and get off and run in the league, and to do so in the match, put the Warriors 2-0 up.
Yeah,
he would have really enjoyed that.
And we said he seemed to know exactly where the photographer was. It was absolute
photographer's
perfect.
Dream.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think he might have seen the Adam Brown FIFA graphic and took it a bit personally, and obviously scored the next game. Went straight to the photographer and made sure that there was a graphic used of him celebrating.
But then Clyde come back. They somehow they rescue a 2-2 draw. It was an own goal in the end from Lynch, which we're talking about the commentary. I thought it was an own goal at the time. I got told it wasn't, but I'm glad I said it at the time. But that did seem a little bit disappointing at the time, especially because Clyde could have gone on and win it right at the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think the way we started as well, we dominated that first half. We should have really gone in more than a goal up. But to concede 2 late goals, and I think from the defensive standards, they're pretty soft goals as well to concede. I think the whole squad would have been a bit disappointed that we didn't win that game.
But yeah, it's showing that the squad have standards, that they're disappointed they didn't win a game. And yeah, I think that will have hit hard because that was a game we were very comfortable in. Even at 2-1, when we were 2-1 up, I would say we were still comfortable in it. And then, own goals are unfortunate. Can't really do anything about them. But yeah, tough result in the end.
Yeah, then had to travel up north to Elgin in another rearranged game. 1-1 draw up north. Adam Brown on the score sheet again. He's absolutely flying this season. Let's hope that he can keep that up. But it leaves, at the time that we're talking, League Two. As I said, it's a bit congested at the top. Stenhousemuir then 4th, 3 points behind Peterhead, who are top of the league, just a couple of points behind Dumbarton, and Spartans in 3rd with that game in hand on those two, despite it being against the league leaders. But yeah, what do you make of that opening quarter? I know it's best to divide the season up into quarters at this level, and I think at times, to me, it's felt you could use so many different words. It's solid, fantastic, maybe a little bit nervy here and there. But yeah, where do you see, do you think Gary Naismith will be happy?
I think overall he will be quite pleased with the first quarter. Obviously, he picked up the September Manager of the Month award for that, for the team and his performances in September. But I think a bit of recency bias will come into the fact that in the past couple of games we maybe haven't performed to the standards that we set at the start of the season. I think he'll look at those games and think we could have done better in them. But overall, the first quarter, I think we have been quite good, but there's definitely still a wee bit of room for improvement, I'd say.
I think it's definitely a positive position. I think we're a good position because we've seen the good and we've seen the bad. So the good obviously gives the squad confidence. The bad will show where the squad can improve moving forward. I think it's definitely
There's a lot to learn in there.
Fourth place just now, a game in hand over the teams in second and third. So that's really, really positive. I think we could go second if we beat Peterhead in the game in hand. So again, big game. And if you're wanting to win the league, you have to beat the teams at the top. So,
if you want to be the man, you've got to beat the man.
Exactly.
And it'll be an interesting night. I'll be looking forward to it under the lights as well. You can't beat league football under the lights midweek. I love it.
Obviously, we've touched on positive and touched on league. I think we need to touch on the weekend just there.
We do.
The disappointing cup
I left
exit.
it to the end for this sort of of this roundup of the fixtures and the results. But yeah, Scottish Cup second round.
A really disappointing game, and I think a disappointing performance. We started the game well. The first 20 minutes, half hour, we were on top, had a bit of chances. Of course, Brewer did have the ball in the back of the net in that spell, but it was ruled out for offside. But a disappointing day to go out the Scottish Cup at the first time of asking.
I think also credit to Brewer because I thought Brewer played really well.
Yeah, sorry, I should mention that Brewer did play really well and sort of forced mistakes upon us. And congratulations to them. I hope they go far in the competition.
We were talking about it off air as well. You noticed the form that Brewer were in coming into that game. It's not to be sniffed at, that.
No, definitely. And when they're the division below us, but when you're a winning team and winning lots of games within the league, and I think they've only lost 2 all season before coming into the match, and when you're a winning team, that sticks, and that becomes a habit of winning. It's easy to say, but it does. And of course, that happened. It continued at the weekend, unfortunately for the Warriors. But they're a team that could go and cause up another upset like they did a couple of years ago, famously knocking out Hearts. But
it's always the same with cup football as well. You'd rather be in Brewer's position, wouldn't you? Going into the early rounds of the cup.
It's a win-win for Brewer, really. That being said, Stenhousemuir were favourites going into that, and rightly should feel disappointed. A cup run for a League Two team can bring lots of positives, financial benefits, and obviously exciting away days to teams that you don't often play. A chance to test yourself, but it shows that there's not that much of a gap maybe between League Two and Highland League as shown possibly.
And we've seen that with the teams that have come up in the last few seasons, haven't we?
Exactly.
I mean, you look at Spartans.
Bonnyrigg as well.
Bonnyrigg, of course.
Don't look out of place at all.
Before that, the likes of Celtic Hearts and Cove Rangers. Cove Rangers, who have been as high as the Championship, obviously now back in League One, but it definitely shows that the pyramid system's working and you're getting teams into the league system that are deserve to be there. But there's definitely good teams within the Lowland and Highland League, and that's shown with a number of the cup games at the weekend, providing upsets with the League Two sides.
Yeah, there was plenty of upsets, wasn't there? And almost some threatened upsets that didn't quite come to pass either as well. So, okay, so we've spoken a lot about the 90 minutes on the pitch, but let's talk a little bit more about the work off the pitch and in the community. So, Rennie, you can tell us a little bit about the importance of the community at Stenhousemuir and the fine work that yourself and the club do. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
So the community, I'm not sure, fans might not realise, but the community is massive at Stenhousemuir. There's about, the last time I checked, 480 active members in the community. And it's varied, massively varied. So you get the youth football, youth teams, community teams, all that sort of stuff. And then you've got the kind of non-active stuff, like Andy's Man's Club, Sport and Memories, all that. And then you've got a kind of mix between the two with walking football, which is amazingly popular. They play here 3 times a week.
I think
men
even
and
I'd
women.
still be able to play that.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. It's a lot harder than it looks, believe it or not.
Is it?
Yeah, I get told off for running. Even a jog's not allowed. So,
Did you get booked?
Unofficially, yeah, I get
Oh,
booked.
right, okay.
The ref must have forgot his cards that day. But yeah, the community is absolutely massive, and it's so important at a club like Stenhousemuir to have a community and rely on the community and making them feel involved within the football club. Definitely.
Yeah, it really is tremendous. And if you are unfamiliar with some of those initiatives, some of those clubs, then by all means look into them and get involved if that feels like something that would appeal to you as well.
Yeah, we've got Andy's Man's Club, which is on a Monday night. You've got Sporting Memories on a Tuesday, Walking Football Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you've got community teams, your boys and girls here every single night during the week, all 7 days even, because they play Saturday, Sundays as well. And it's really great in my role to see them growing. And my role is basically to do the community's kind of social media communication side of things, and having a foot in both camps, also kind of volunteering for the football club as well. It's really good to see how we can kind of gel the two. Currently, they are two separate entities, but you can gel the two, make them as one big club really. But it really is the community. It shocked me when I came in here and there's almost 500 members, and it's really positive. The community definitely.
And obviously, the club do their best to help raise money for Warriors in the community. And as we referenced, our second viral moment of the season came just a couple of weeks ago as we released our limited edition Portaloo kit after Barcelona had their partnership with Spotify, wearing the Rolling Stones tongue for their El Clasico game.
Didn't go too well for them, that did it?
No, it didn't. But definitely the Stenhousemuir originally put it out as just a bit of a joke, but the fans loved it, and we decided why not produce some limited edition kits for the fans to buy. And obviously, I think we've got over 100 orders to help raise money for Warriors in the community, and it's going to go towards a fantastic cause and go towards all the things that Rennie just mentioned.
And have you ordered one?
Guilty.
I think we all have, haven't we? Got to. And it's sort of, I think I said at the time, it's the sort of kit that you'll see in classic football shirts for about triple the price in a few years. But definitely, it's a really great initiative, and it's all going to a good cause. You can't ask for more than that.
It's an investment as long as the Warriors and Foundation get the 2 times the price from classic football shirts.
Yeah, we've had a little look, haven't you, Angus?
Yeah, definitely. The Warriors make their trip up to Angus to play at Station Park for the first time this season. Obviously, opening game of the season we played Forfar, as we touched on earlier. And they'll draw. All the action came towards the end of the match, really, with the Warriors having a penalty shout and hitting the post on a couple of occasions. Although it must be said that Darren Jameson did have 2 late saves that made sure that the points were shared at Oakleview in the first game of the season. But let's go into the all-time head-to-head between the two clubs. We played for 204 times, and we've won 85, we've drawn 41, and we've lost 78. So a positive record just for the Warriors in the fixture. At the weekend there, they played in the Scottish Cup. Like the Warriors, they played in the Scottish Cup. They beat Huntly away from home 4-1 at the weekend, and they now face Trinent away in the next round, which will be a difficult tie.
Trinent had a fantastic result, didn't they?
Yeah, thrashing, should I say, East Kilbride. But so that'll be an interesting one to watch. But for the Loons, Josh Skelly is their top scorer with 4 goals in all competitions, and it'll be a tough match for the Warriors. Forfar currently sit in 8th place with only just the 1 win this season, which came against.
Oh, I've got it here. Stranraer it was.
You got better notes than me, put it that way. But so came against Stranraer.
But that was the end of September, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, but of course our last one came in September, so
True.
So it'll be an interesting game. I think it will be a fairly even game, a tough game for the Warriors, going up to Angus to take on Forfar.
And I bet you it's windy as well. Always windy away days.
Always windy in League 2. Always windy in League 2. Yeah, well, that was great. But thank you so much for listening. This is the first episode of the official Stenhousemuir podcast, and let's just say that we are excited to be producing more and more, and you can listen through Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We hopefully have some good plans for the podcast that involves you, the fans. So please get in touch with us and we can take this podcast and we can move forward together. If you want to get in touch, then please do find Stenhousemuir on social media via Facebook, X, which still doesn't feel right to say, formerly known as Twitter, of course, and Instagram. And yeah, give us your feedback and let us know perhaps maybe what you might like to see coming up in the future. But like I said, we are excited to have launched this and to be bringing this to you. And we're excited for what we can do with the podcast and the rest of the season on the pitch and off it as well. So for that, I will say thank you very much, Angus.
It's been a pleasure to come on and looking forward to the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, and to yourself, Rennie.
Yeah, thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it's a thank you from me. My name's Chris McMillan, and this is the official Stenhousemuir podcast.